Welcome to Fresh to Death Comics. I'm your host, Brian, and with me is my burly, furry, farty friend, Hans.
Thanks for the introduction, buddy.
That's how I do it.
Yeah, it's good.
Feels good doing the introduction again.
Yeah, it feels good being on the other side. Ridiculed.
It feels good doing a podcast. We missed a week. I feel bad about that.
Yeah, there was a small catastrophe.
There was. My cat got hurt. I had to take care of him. And
what happened?
We're not sure. Either he was maced or sprayed by a
skunk. He was maced?
The evidence points to it. I don't want to believe that. I don't want to believe that.
Who would mace a kitten?
That's the question. There's people I can assume did. I mean, I don't want to think out that far, but, there's no skunks in the area. I don't want to know. He was sprayed by something.
Was he out, thieving purses from old ladies?
No, he's a very friendly cat. So maybe someone came up, he walked up to someone or something. Maybe it was an alien, sir.
Ooh.
He got attacked by an alien.
That's terrifying.
That is today's topic. If we were to have a topic, that is the topic of this. We have a great podcast for you. We're going to be talking about aliens. We're going to be talking to a guy who writes about aliens, Mr. Mike Raicht. It's a fantastic podcast. I'm excited for it. But first, we have to find out. It's been on my mind. I'm sure it's been on yours. Hans, how is your heart feeling? Did Rick Remender touch your heart?
Rick Remender always touches my heart.
Yeah, but sometimes, you can read a book and it's not what you thought. Maybe it ends up in the bowels.
In the bowels?
Or maybe in the lungs was, maybe in the armpit. It was a little, it was, helped you get through some stuff. It was a little stinky.
I don't think Rick Remender would do me like that.
I guess there's your answer. I take it your heart was touched?
Yeah, my heart's good. I went to the doctor recently. Read a copy of Low, number 8. It was a great issue. The main character, Stell, is dealing with a lot of grief after she lost her son. And I guess lost her daughter again because she went off into the middle of nowhere to try and find her sister. It's a very complicated family issue. It's a post-apocalyptic world where they're living under the water because the surface is too, irradiated.
So, I take it you loved it then.
Yeah, and they left us with a interesting cliffhanger. This mermaid is getting ready to attack our main character.
Oh, no!
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
Is it Aquaman?
No, it's not Aquaman.
I don't know who it is, man. You just said mermaid.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be the Little Mermaid. It could be...
no, it's this crazy mermaid with a little baby. She's like, oh, we want food. And then
are they very similar to the mermen in, The Wake? Where they're, these killer mermaids that just...
I guess. I didn't read The Wake yet.
Oh, you need to.
Yeah, I have to get there.
It's very
But the mermaid, she's got her little baby, and they're like, we need food. Please help us. And then she comes closer, and you reveal her teeth, and she's getting ready to bite.
That's how The Wake is.
And then that's how it ends.
Like that. That's the thing. You think of mermaids like not even Aquaman.
I don't think Aquaman's a mermaid.
He's kind of a mermaid. He lives underneath the water, except he has feet. I mean,
he's an Atlantean, isn't he?
He is. He's an Atlantean, but
isn't that the technical term?
It's a technical term. I mean, it's like saying you're human, but you can be a New Yorker.
I'm both.
Correct, and he can be both.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's just why I interpret it. And, you have the Little Mermaid, and you have this whole...
Under the sea.
Exactly, under the sea, where they, everyone's all happy and joyous. But what if mermaids actually are terrifying creatures? I mean, if you imagine they attacked all the boats and tried to go through our waterways, I mean, we'd be messed up.
Yeah.
I mean,
do you think mermaids are real?
I want to believe.
Have you ever seen a mermaid?
I haven't.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to. I'd like to believe that they existed, but unfortunately, there's no evidence for them. So, my choice of the last 2 weeks ago, Superman 42, was not a good choice.
No?
It was mediocre. It's the same story being told at a slow pace and not exciting. Action, there's 2 Superman stories.
Wait. So, how many issues of Superman are there, ever?
There's over 700.
You don't think there's any, similar stories, repeated stories?
Not that I've seen. I mean, right now, this story, I don't think has ever been told.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a story of him dealing with in the Superman story itself, it's him dealing with someone who knows his identity and virtually at a click of a button can release it online to the world.
So no one's ever known his identity?
Correct. They've known it, and they've always threatened to go to the papers. They've threatened to, expose him. But when you have, like, digital files of everything, like, him actually changing, like, it's almost like a cyber terrorist. Like, if I have everything that you have in a, all online, in a flick of a switch, I can release everything online. Everything about you is on there. I mean, it's kind of a terrifying moment. And so the guy is basically saying, Superman, do what I say, or I will release your identity and everything about you.
Does he do what he says?
I'm not going to do a spoiler.
Oh. Okay.
But let's just say he's Superman, the Boy Scout, and when people do him wrong, he ain't going to stand down for that. It was an okay story. It was mediocre at best. I should have stuck with the one I was kind of debating in the back of my mind was kind of a coin toss, Batgirl.
Yeah?
Batgirl was fantastic.
This is like a hidden gem for you or something?
It was a hidden gem. It was. It was the book that I was kind of looking forward to because it's been all right. It's been fun. But this issue took it out of the park. The topic of today's discussion is aliens.
Aliens.
Do we believe?
Do you want to believe?
Do we even know if we believe in the unknown? We were doing some research the other night. I was trying to find stuff, and Hans, you came across an article that you found.
Yeah, I found two. Which one do you want to hear about?
Whatever one. Make me believe, because I don't believe in aliens. I don't think they're out there. I am like 99% sure there are no aliens.
All right, so here's a fun one.
Help me believe.
Posted on Inquisitor. So we were speaking about underwater stuff, and the title of this article is "You Might Not Believe It, but Octopuses Are Aliens," reveals new DNA study. How do you feel about that?
Octopuses are aliens.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
No, man, octopuses are octopuses.
They're saying they're so weird. Their DNA is so weird.
Everybody's so
that
weird.
they may be categorized as aliens.
How'd they get here if they're aliens? You're saying aliens dropped them off here? I mean, octopuses
Yeah,
have been
maybe.
around for a
Maybe
long
it was
time.
like an experiment.
Let's go. You have another article.
Yeah,
I do. That one did not make me believe.
All right.
All right.
So this article was posted on the New York Daily News, and it's entitled "Sixth Man to Walk on Moon Says Aliens Prevented Nuclear War."
The sixth man on the moon?
The sixth man to walk on the moon.
How does he know?
Well, I mean, he has no physical evidence. He can't prove it.
So he just came up with it.
Well, he said many Air Force officers told him about working with aliens at missile bases during the height of the Cold War.
I don't know if that's even credible, man.
I mean, you're one to believe that most folks are honest, right?
I want to believe that most people are honest, but if you've got the sixth man who walked on the moon, we're friends, Hans. I'm the sixth man who walked on the moon. Every time you see me, I'm like, hey, how's it going? You doing all right? This gravity kind of stinks here. When I was up on the moon, it was all fun. Like, I did this and that. I got to hang up a flag. I mean, what did you do today? Oh, you got to fly around an airplane? Oh, cool. I was all the way up there. Like, you see that plane right there? No. I was up there. See that moon up there? I was there. I was there right there. Like, if you got that every single day, like from this guy, wouldn't you just be like, know what? Dude, we were on a secret. Don't tell anyone, right? Come here. Don't tell anybody. But we were on a secret mission. Aliens were helping us take out missiles all around the world. What's he going to say to that? It's like, now his moon story doesn't sound that great anymore. Now he's just like, oh, man. So every time he sees them, they can be... He can't trump them. He can't do that whole topper story.
So you think it's highly plausible that these guys are just messing with him?
I think so. I mean, come on. Think about it.
Do you think this man's age has anything to do with...
Absolutely not.
his,
I think he was told this.
Okay.
And I think he actually believes it because his friends let him do it. I think this is the greatest practical joke you can do to somebody. And
really?
I think this is what it is. So I feel bad for this guy. Like, he's going on a limb. He's like, man, Henry and Joey and Nathan, they told me this stuff. And they wouldn't lie to me, man. We're tight.
I mean, he said other officers from bases on the Pacific coast told him their test missiles were frequently shot down by alien spacecraft. So everybody's just in on this, you're saying?
Yeah, because imagine, every time you meet this guy, he's like, "Hi, I'm Edgar Mitchell, 6th man to walk on the moon." Because that's what I would do. I mean, if I walked on the moon, like, if I go and walk on the moon now, I'd be like, what, the 42nd? I'd be like, "Hi, I'm Brian, the 42nd man to walk on the moon." That'd be my claim to fame.
But at 42nd, do you think it really matters?
Not really, but when you're the 6th man, I mean, you're in the top 10 of people who ever walked on the moon.
That's true. That's
you're
an accomplishment.
10. Like, you can't ever beat that.
But don't you think that adds credibility to him?
No, I think it means that you feel bad for him because everybody's in on this. Like, he walks around and he didn't, like, what else has he done in life? He's just walking around like, "Hi, I'm Edgar. I'm 6th man walking the moon."
What else do you need to do? He's walked on the moon.
So people, like, if you go into a place every single day and you tell that person, like, when they're complaining about something, like, "Oh yeah, we have to take down, we have to do a couple of sweeps and stuff. We think there might be some credibility." Oh man, I didn't get any of that when I was on the moon. I saw everyone down there. I didn't even see. I mean, does it really matter? I mean, you gotta know. That's what I would do, and I think that's what he did. I think he, unfortunately, just was a topper too much. And then everyone, like, kind of gets together. I'm like, "Hey, man, Hager, man, he's just driving me crazy." "Oh, he told you he walked on the moon again?" Yeah, of course he did. Listen. Come in close. Listen. What if we tell him aliens stopped our missiles, that we helped take out other missiles, that aliens helped us out? What if we do that? Like, it might stop this whole thing. I'm tired of hearing him talking about the moon. I'm about to blow up the moon. And he's like, "All right, let's do it." And they talk to other, they'll have the connections there. They're all in the same, bases and stuff. They're all generals and, captains. And they're all in on this. And so, after you hear someone like, "Oh yeah, I was working with an alien and we saved Iraq." And you're like, "Oh man, my moon story is no longer interesting." You met something that went beyond the moon.
So if this were the case, don't you think that these other guys would come clean after so long?
No, you can't. There's a point that you get
when you tell a lie, return.
And then he releases it to the world, and you're like, "Oh man, he just told them. He told a national, like, source this. We can't come clean," because he doesn't tell their names, do they?
Not that I've read.
Yeah. Like, he's keeping it under wraps. I mean, unless he starts naming names and says, Mark Douglas and John Dwight, they told me this. And they go to him, like, once those names come out, they're going to go to him and be like, "Sir, you worked with aliens?" And they're going to be like, "No, man, it was a practical joke. We've been telling it for him for 20 years, and I can't believe that he actually told somebody. We just didn't want to hear about the moon anymore."
I mean, Mitchell said he has no way of proving his claims, and he calls them just speculation.
Correct.
So, I mean, at least he admits to the fact that there's no way he can provide enough evidence for you to believe him.
Correct, but in his mind, he believes it. I think this is a sad story. I don't think this is the case of aliens existing. I think this is the case of someone messing with someone.
So you just feel bad for Mitchell?
I feel bad for him.
Aww.
I feel very, very bad for him. Speaking of one to believe, X-Files came out a couple of weeks ago. The annual, we told you guys to get it. We're excited for it. We actually got the interview with Mike Raicht. We're going to play it for you in just a moment here. Truly one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Can't say enough nice things about him. All right, we have Mike Raicht here. He is the writer of Stuff of Legends. He does Wild Blue Yonder. He does Army of Darkness, and he just did a whole new book that came out a couple weeks ago, X-Files, annual number 1. Hi, Mike. Thank you for coming.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Stuff of Legends is your big book you have.
Yep.
Recently, it's sold to Disney.
Yep.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you have any say in the movie at all, or how is this working?
Not really. No real say in the movie. Once Disney gets a hold of it, it's pretty much their domain. They've been great to be interested in it and everything. That's a good thing. They hired 2 writers that worked on the Saw franchise, Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan. They actually won Project Greenlight when Ben Affleck and Matt Damon did that show. They actually won for a Feast, which was the horror movie that was done.
That was a good movie.
So, yeah, that was actually a fun movie, and I was surprised I was surprised Disney would take horror writers and let them work on a property that they bought. So I was excited about that because when we first created Stuff of Legend, a lot of it was kind of like us trying to do a darker kids book, kind of against what Disney does sometimes. But they've gotten behind it, and the things I've read have all been really strong, and really the two screenwriters have been great in that they care about what we think in a nice way, not in a they're going to do what we say way, but they want to keep the tone of the book, which is the best. I think that's the best you can ask for with a book like that, because it's not going to be the same, because ours is 6 graphic novels worth of information. They have to distill it down into 2 hours of movie, so they're going to do their own thing. But hopefully if it happens and it becomes a movie, their thing will lead people back to our thing, and that's the hope.
The circle of
yes,
life of comic
exactly.
books.
Exactly.
So do you have any hopes of like actors playing certain roles? Like in your head, you're like, man, I really hope the bear is played by...
No, I've never really, even when my co-writer and I have talked about it, like he hears some of these characters with like accents and stuff. Like I hear them all pretty much the same.
Is it just your voice?
It's just like the normal American accent. He thought it would be more of a New York City accent type thing, which I never really thought of when we were writing it, but I guess would be the case. I haven't really thought of any actors. I kind of just, whoever they pick, I'll be happy. If they have actors involved, I will be very excited for whatever actor they pick.
How about directors or anything like that?
Well, they've already got a director attached.
Okay, so it's not just the screenwriters.
Yeah, no, they've got a director attached. He's done a lot of work. He did some of the Gorillaz videos. The band, the Gorillaz.
Yeah, okay.
He also worked on the Beatles Rock Band game. He did a lot of the animation for that. So that's kind of cool. He's also attached to some other Disney movies.
So you just did X-Files. You've had the book out. Did they give you any rules to follow with X-Files?
No, I pitched this probably 2 years ago, which is going to sound weird. They had asked for some pitches for some annuals, or it was going to be like a series of specials. And then at the beginning of this year, they called Denton Tipton, who's a really nice guy over at IDW, is a great editor. He called me and asked me if I wanted to take that idea and do an annual with it, and I was like, of course. So that was it. They just kind of wanted an idea, and my idea, I passed it by a lot of my friends who were big X-Files fans. I had the idea of this reunion and Mulder kind of playing with going to someone else's reunion and kind of crashing it as someone. I kind of felt like that was a very Mulder thing to do, and the other people agreed and kind of agreed that it had that X-Files one-off episode type feel, like the Monster of the Week type feel, and that's what I wanted to do, because those were my favorite episodes. So.
Did you have to collaborate with Joe Harris at all, who's working on X-Files?
Nope, I didn't, because mine was set during the series where he's doing farther along stuff. Mine was during the series, which gave it let me do what I needed to do and let them not have to worry about getting me caught up on everything. I'm kind of just part of the universe now, which is really neat.
You're just like kind of in an episode.
Yeah, I just kind of slipped it
in.
Yeah, I wanted to do something. I always loved the idea of Mulder searching for his sister, and I thought it'd be neat if every year he kind of was out there trying to help other people too.
Absolutely.
Because he can't help the situation anymore with himself. He spends his whole life trying to figure that out, so he kind of sets one day aside to make sure he helps other people. And it was also my really ham-fisted way of trying to say, we could do this every year. Every year could be the Mulder story where he goes and looks for people. That's awesome. How you try to get extra work as a writer.
So now it's time to play Getting to Know You with Mike Raicht. We'll start out easy. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
What was the last movie you saw?
We just watched Mission Impossible 3 because my son and then my wife and I went to see Mission Impossible 5, and he hadn't seen the other ones yet, so now he's going through them all.
Is he going backwards? Or?
No, we skipped 2 completely. We started to watch it, and he was like, this is bad. And I was like, it is bad. So we moved to 3, and I said, these are where they get cool, because with Abrams and stuff, he's such a master of telling those types of stories, and we did that. I also took my 9-year-old son to see Mad Max, so that tells you what I do with my son. He's not very safe. So,
how did you like the new Mission Impossible?
Oh, we enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. They're fun. I think I like 3 the best, just because I think there's an emotional hook there with what he's going through in his life at that time. The main character is kind of moving on and has this wife, and he has to hide it from. I thought that was an interesting idea. You can't do that every time. So, that's that one. You always have that one shot at it, and I thought they did it great, especially with Philip Seymour Hoffman in it.
Oh, yeah.
And I love Kerry Russell, so that makes me always happy when she's in any movies.
Will you be going to see the Fantastic Four movie?
I'm sure eventually I will go see the Fantastic Four movie. I don't know. I had high hopes for it when I saw the trailer, which sounds horrible, but I was excited because they seemed like they were trying something.
Yes.
But from what I heard, the biggest issue with it is the structure, and that's bad. Like, if the structure doesn't work, that's worse. You can change the characters and do what you want. Just like I said with Stuff of Legend, you can they're going to do what they do because they have to do something different. You can't although, if I was doing the Fantastic Four movie, I would have done it in 1960. Do it when the space race mattered, put it in the 60s, and just do it. Like they did with the X-Men. Like in the 70s X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
Like that worked. I thought that was fun. Like 70s and 80s X-Men. That's more interesting to me. You get to play with the era. I think that would, if you grounded it during the space race, I think there'd be some real drama there, but everyone's always trying to reinvent why they get changed, and it's kind of like, well, it doesn't really make any sense. I don't know. I'm going to see it. I'm sure I'm going to see it. That's just me. I did like his other movie. That guy, Chronicle was I thought Chronicle was a good movie. Good. My son and I liked that a lot. Like, my son was excited because the Michael B. Jordan, I think, the one that plays.
Michael B. Jordan.
He was excited. He was like, awesome, he's in that movie because that was his favorite character from Chronicle. So it's like I feel like there's some good things there. I guess it didn't work out.
What are you reading right now?
I'm rereading some Stephen King short stories because I always do that. So I'm working through Night Shift again. I always tend to do that every couple of years. Night Shift and Skeleton Crew are like my high water mark for the short stories, and I just like reading them because I feel like they give me a lot of inspiration and how he does characters and how he inserts you in a world, and I just think he's very good at what he does. Obviously, a lot of people read his stuff. He does a good job. He's a pretty good writer.
Stephen King gets paid the money for
Stephen King does okay for himself. So,
No, you would be the Stephen King of the comic world.
If only.
Smiley, I mean, come on.
That
book is
Smiley
insane.
Issue. Everyone loves Smiley. I think I've been reading that, and I'm trying to think. That's it. That's all I've been doing. Because I teach at Lemoyne College, and sometimes we drop some really good short stories in there, and I always try to slip a Stephen King story in there for them.
What's your favorite shape to find in the clouds?
Oh my goodness, snowman-like? Is that a shape?
You look for snowmen in the sky?
I do look for snowmen in the sky. I feel like that's the right thing to do.
I always look for squares. I don't
squares? Know. That's hard with the clouds.
Exactly. I want to find those perfect squares.
Funnels are neat, but that
you're
could be
funnel,
scary.
tornadoes.
It's a tornado.
You're looking for tornadoes.
Like storm clouds always are pretty cool to me when they're really moving and coming in.
So if it's a storm, if the storm's moving, if it's shaped like a snowman, you're so excited.
Everything. It's everything.
You just pull over the car. Look at that.
Yep.
You drove in, right?
I did.
Did you hit a storm on the way?
I did. No, it didn't storm on the way in. It stormed when I got here.
Okay.
I will say that I took pictures of a double rainbow on my way back from Austin Con in Washington. It was very exciting. I don't know what that means, but it was very interesting.
It's double good luck.
Yeah, I actually stopped the car and took a picture of it because it was such a crazy storm. I'll send you pictures.
All right.
What's the last album or CD you've bought?
Whole album? I'm a big iTunes guy.
Okay.
I don't buy a lot of things
so you just
wholesale.
Mix and match.
Oh, I bought the last CD I bought was the Mix Volume 1. The
Awesome Mix?
Awesome Mix Volume 1.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I bought that because I wanted my son to see what a tape looked like. But it wasn't a tape.
Oh, you bought it on the
CD. No.
Okay.
I just showed him on the
on Record Store Day, they actually did release the cassettes.
Yeah, I saw
really
that. Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I like that CD.
It's a fantastic
Yeah, it's fun.
How are the Knicks going to do this year?
Horrible.
Oh.
I feel like they're not going to do well. I don't know. I always feel like I love Carmelo for when he played at Syracuse because I was a big Syracuse fan. But I always feel like he kind of just doesn't. He could be LeBron, like not quite LeBron, but he could do all those things. But he doesn't seem to realize he feels the need just to score, and I feel like that just. Who would want to play with him? Who wants to play? I don't want to play with him, and I'm me. So I just feel like he's like kind of the anti-team guy, which
he's a one-man team.
In 1984 he would have been awesome. He would have been like Dominique Wilkins on the team. Like he would have been the team, but they don't. Teams aren't built that way anymore. It just doesn't happen. Like him and Kobe, there's guys that could do it a little bit. Like it's just the dynamic of the NBA has changed too much. That's my thoughts. I don't know. They're gonna win like 30 games.
30 games, that's the prediction.
Yeah.
During the draft, everybody was so upset by the first pick.
Yes.
Did you
I
have any reaction like that? Or
I did.
Did you really?
I was kind of upset. I wanted Dante. No, not Dante. The guy that played in Japan that was supposed to play down at SMU. I can't remember his name. He was supposed to be very good, but I don't know. I don't know anything. These guys know better than us.
Right.
But I just felt like they've got a guy who's an offensive threat. You need to give him a guard or someone. They need someone to guard someone or do something or be able to play both ways. It feels like they only have all their players can either play defense really well and not score or only score and are the worst defenders I've ever seen. So like you think you'd want to find someone that was a combination, like a real basketball player. And I don't know if this guy's a real basketball player. I have my fears. I like the second pick. I like Grant.
Yeah.
Jaron Grant from
Absolutely.
Notre Dame.
yeah.
I felt like he was a good pick. I don't know if he's going to be good, but he seems to have something to him. I don't know if he's athletic or not. He's a great athlete, but I don't know if he's. All these guys are such great athletes, and they get to the pros, and you see them compete with other people, and you're like, oh God, they're not as good as these guys.
Right.
So,
We'll see, right?
anyways, yeah, I like the Jaron Grant trade with the Sixers.
What is your next big project?
Let's see. Right now, we are working with Intel to adapt Wild Blue Yonder into like a motion, like a video experience, like a game experience where we'll have voice actors and people reenacting the actual comic, but also during it, you'll play moments in the actual story. So that's kind of neat. And they're doing that for their new RealSense computer that they're putting out. So it's really neat. We'll see how that comes out. We're working on Stuff of Legend Volume 5 right now. Charles is working on it now, which is always exciting. Brian Smith and I, who I write Stuff of Legend with, he's actually an amazing cartoonist, and he's drawing a book called Tree Mail, which we have a publisher for, which we haven't announced yet, but that'll be out next summer.
And then there's only, 6 volumes for Stuff of Legends?
6 volumes for Stuff of Legend, yeah. And we're in 5
almost,
now. So
almost
5
at the
will be
end.
kind of like 5 wraps up the different storylines going on in Volume 4, and then 6 will be the war between the Boogeyman's forces and the...
Yeah, it's a great book. I'm excited for it.
I'm excited to see it, too.
Well, thank you very much. You came down here from Syracuse to Heroes Your Mom Threw Out here
Yep.
to do a signing. We're very grateful that you came and did the interview with us.
Thanks for having me.
It's a great thing.
This has been fun, always. So
Yeah, so thank you so much.
no problem.
So that was our interview with Mike. Thank you, Mike, again for being on the show. We really, really appreciate you taking the time and taking the interview with us.
I hope we get to talk to him again.
I do. It was one of the things he offered. We can do a Skype call with him anytime. It's great to pick his brain.
Absolutely. He's very insightful.
So our picks of the week. Hans, we'll start with you first. We always start with you first, I always feel.
Okay, let's start with you.
All right, we'll start with me.
What do you got for us?
My pick is going to be a generic pick.
Generic pick. Okay.
It will, because I feel like my pick
Hype it up, man.
a pick everyone is going to read, everyone buys, but it's a book after last issue. My mind was blown, and that's Walking Dead number 145 is my pick of the week. After last issue, without giving any spoilers, it made your head explode with it went to a pinnacle of I don't know where it's going to go. I'm so excited to read it. It's by far the craziest book I've ever read right now.
No, you said it's a generic pick and everybody reads it,
Because
but I don't read it.
Well, I mean generic pick, as in a lot of people read it. I mean, a lot of people read it. And I feel like when you say The Walking Dead, everyone just goes, oh yeah, I'm picking that up anyway. But it's a book that you need to pick up. If you're not reading The Walking Dead, you need to be reading The Walking Dead. And I'm excited for this next issue. I can't express how much I'm excited for it. All right, Hans, what's your pick of the week?
My pick this week is The Beauty, issue 1.
What is The Beauty?
Apparently,
if it's number 1, not a lot of people know about it. Like Walking Dead, I can say The Walking Dead, everybody knows it. What is Beauty?
So here's why I picked it. Honestly, I wouldn't have had a pick of the week this week if our friend Isaac didn't come back to the shop and say, hey, that was a good book. He doesn't like anything. And if he's recommending something, it's got to be good, right?
It should be. I mean, I went through a few pages of it. It looks good.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's a crazy premise, It's beauty comes transmitted to you through a sexual transmitted disease, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and
so everybody wants his STD.
which is odd, but I guess
This is if you could become beautiful, like, no, you're not fat, don't have any kind of blemishes, you don't go bald, you have nothing wrong with your body because you get an STD, wouldn't you want it? I mean, I don't even wonder what the side effects are. Like this is just the premise of it. Like, if the side effects is that you're coughing all the time, or you get bloody noses every.
See,
5
I think
minutes.
that's going to be an interesting part of the story.
I'm interested to see how they take on it. I mean, if there's an STD that gives you all benefits and no side effects, why would you not do it?
We'll find out.
All right, this has been Fresh Death Comics. As always, I'm your host, B. Luke. This is my ever faithful friend, Hans. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week.